Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and thank you for being part of this weather community. I do it for safety in situations like this. We do have a hurricane that is going to be working in. Right now it's a tropical storm. It's getting stronger. Now we're going to be okay. We just need to kind of get through this, and there'll be a second area back behind it. It's going to be a long season, but what we need to do now is take those preparations for hurricane conditions in some spots. Safety is the priority with this. We have 2 days to finish those preparations, today and tomorrow. Everything needs to be done by tomorrow night. I'll get very specific island by island. I want to break it down, the worst weather, the winds, the rain, everything very specifically in this video as we go island by island. And I want to take a look at the two biggest keys to watch as this eventually works its way through the Caribbean. So we have these two spots here. This is now Tropical Storm Beryl. Here's the latest track. Everything in good agreement with the track. Look at everything out there. This will bring a hurricane into Barbados early on Monday. And I'm going to zoom down in a moment so we could go hour by hour. And then this hurricane rolls through the Caribbean. It'll be south of Puerto Rico by Tuesday. Then Wednesday and Thursday, very close to the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and eventually over toward Jamaica. A lot of uncertainty over here, so I'll break that part down. But right now we do have a hurricane watch for Barbados that will quickly be switched to a hurricane warning, and we'll see more watches and warnings as we get into several of our islands going forward. Here's the most likely track, and this has been on track over the last several days. I've been showing you this map, just making some small tweaks, so everything stays on track. We are clearly in action mode in these locations. Anywhere from Dominica back through Trinidad and Tobago, we're in action mode. Not all of these spots are going to get hurricane conditions. Hurricanes can wobble a little bit, makes a big difference island by island, as we well know. But there is going to be tree and structure damage where the core of Beryl comes in, mudslides and power loss. Now, where the core comes in, that's the center, the strongest winds around what will eventually be an eye wall. Winds gusting to 210 kilometers an hour or 130 miles per hour. Again, not for all of us, so I'm going to break that down island by island in this video. Now, down the road, a lot of question marks. What happens? Here's Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cuba. Here's Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. We are in monitor mode right now for Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. Now, there are some indications whatever this is could stay just to the south, but more indications are this could kind of scrape by Haiti and the Dominican Republic, potentially with some flooding rain, and then head into the direction of Jamaica by Thursday. So Wednesday and Thursday in these areas, but Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, we're on high alert, we're in monitor mode, and by tomorrow we may have to start taking action for the possibility of tropical storm or hurricane conditions as we get into next week. And I'll show you the scenarios I'm seeing with that as we get into the Caribbean. We have one little tropical disturbance sliding by. You may be getting some rain this morning in spots, but it's this area here. And my friends here in Belize, I'm not losing sight of us in Belize, Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, even parts of Nicaragua. This disturbance will work its way into the Yucatan and Belize and work its way back toward Mexico with some flooding rain. So keep me posted in the comments what you're getting. Trying to watch everyone. Of course, this here happens to be the biggest situation. Models stay in very good agreement, bringing a hurricane into Barbados, near St. Lucia, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, as we work our way into Monday, and then sliding, you see, just south of Haiti and the DR. But either way, even if it's just south, that'll bring some extra rain, and then head it toward the general direction of Jamaica. But this doesn't tell us what the strength will be. Take a look at this map. This is going out in time. Now, this is a day out in time, 2 days. This is 3 days, and then 4 days out in time. These are the computer models. The green shading here, a stronger tropical storm, and then by tomorrow becoming a hurricane. And by the way, this is going to be a record-breaking hurricane. This will be the earliest we've had a hurricane this far east in the Atlantic on record. We haven't seen development this aggressive this early in the season, this far out in the Atlantic. So it looks like this will be a record-breaking hurricane. This will become a hurricane tomorrow and or the next day, and then getting stronger. Could become a Category 2 hurricane, potentially close to a Category 3. I'll show you the potential for rapid strengthening in just a second, but then it kind of tails off a little bit. That's because there'll be some wind shear, and that's why I was mentioning down the road for Jamaica, everything looks like it's pointed at us, which it is as of now. but we could get some changes in the strength. Now, here's the broad picture. Here's this area here. I mentioned some of the flood potential. Belize back toward the Yucatan today. And then watching this here in the second area back behind it also looks like it wants to develop. So this is by tomorrow afternoon. There could be a tropical storm trying to develop in the Bay of Campeche. Here is Beryl, which should become a hurricane, will become a hurricane, and there's that area back behind it. I'll zoom down very close in just a second. And then here on Monday, the hurricane moves in for some of our islands, starts to work in. This area over here brings some flooding rain to Mexico, and then this area back here starts to develop, and it's going to follow the same path. The patterns during the hurricane season are very critical, and I'll show you that with that area of high pressure. Then on Tuesday, this area would be south of Puerto Rico. We may get some rain in Puerto Rico. I don't have any indications that this is going to move into Puerto Rico, but of course, you know I'm watching this for you. And then this starts to work its way near Haiti and Jamaica, even eastern Cuba. The American model shows weakening, though, at this point. So maybe a scenario that we're preparing for hurricane conditions in Jamaica, and then this system could fall apart. I hope that happens, but it's a wait and see. And then you see that second system coming in, also showing some signs eventually of weakening. So the conditions are not as good for development or keeping some of the strength in the Caribbean, which is good. I'm just hoping that holds, because we don't need this powerful hurricane, what is to become a powerful hurricane, to stick together too terribly long. All right, let's get into some closer looks. Here's Barbados. This is Sunday night. Tomorrow night, worse weather is still just to the east, but this is Monday morning. It starts to work in tomorrow night, and Monday morning conditions go downhill, so you need to be where you need to be. You need to be in place by tomorrow evening. Barbados, hurricane conditions moving in. Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago, at least some tropical storm conditions moving in. We're going to break that down. And then this hurricane will move from Barbados towards St. Lucia, St. Vincent the Grenadines, and Grenada through the day on Monday. St. Lucia, St. Vincent the Grenadines, and Grenada, we could have some of the worst weather. It'll be strengthening as it moves in. The hurricane will be right here watching Dominica and Martinique. We're going to be on the edge of this. We're making the preps. Hopefully some of this misses us, but then this will get a little bit stronger, and you can see here by Tuesday morning, it's out of the picture, and we'll be seeing if we have any cleanup to do and all that sort of thing. But I just want you safe. Safety is the number one thing. Please share this information. You don't need to subscribe or anything like that. Just get the word out, the correct word out about this, and then we'll keep an eye on that next system that will be on its heels. Now let's get to the winds here as we work our way into Sunday. So this is tomorrow evening. And gustier winds are going to start to pick up tomorrow in Barbados. We're going to know something's coming our way. Here's the scale in kilometers an hour and miles per hour. Now let's go out in time. Conditions go downhill quickly tomorrow night into early Monday. Barbados will have some of the heaviest weather working in. We'll watch this hurricane starting to work in. You see here, the core of it could be in Barbados or just to the south with winds. You see generally that red and yellow you're seeing, those are hurricane force winds of anywhere from upwards of 145 kilometers or 90 miles per hour. And that's early on Monday. This is Monday, right around midday. Heavier weather, St. Lucia could have the hurricane conditions, but especially St. Vincent the Grenadines, all our islands of St. Vincent the Grenadines and all our islands of Grenada. We're taking those hurricane preps. We're going to have those done by tomorrow, and then this will swing back into the Caribbean, still strengthening by the time we get into Tuesday morning, but out of the picture. Now, I know we have different means. Some of us are trying to stock up on some water, some food, and we're doing the best we can. If you're new to this sort of situation, we have great people here. Speak with a friend, a neighbor, maybe you could stay with somebody else. I always think of people that are alone when a hurricane comes. Hurricanes are scary when you have a group of people together, yet alone. So please think of those that may be alone, maybe the elderly. Maybe you could take them in for a day or two just as this passes by. Now, here's the European model. Everything generally showing the same thing, but I want to show you the setup here. High pressure is dominant here. High pressure is like a blocker, like a fence, and that's why all of this action will be heading in. And I'm going to go island by island in a second. Hang with me. I know this video is long. Don't like them to be too long, but we have plenty going on. Now, this working our way forward, this is on late Sunday, so tomorrow night we'll start to see this hurricane starting to make its way in. High pressure up here, keeping this moving to the west. There's no way for this to escape because we have the blocker up here. Now, going forward, we're also watching this back here, the Bay of Campeche. This could briefly become a named system. So my friends in Mexico, we're watching out for additional flooding moving in, especially tomorrow into Monday as that system rolls in. This is Monday morning. Now here's what's going on Monday morning. We have a brief breakdown in the area of high pressure. We have the hurricane moving in on Monday, as I was just showing you, and then to the north of there, I'm going to keep an eye on a front, and I want to get into this in a second. There's a front back to the north, so this is Monday morning. This is late in the day on Monday, and you see here the hurricane moves across into the Eastern Caribbean. Here's Puerto Rico right here. Here's this front up here. So there's this area, a front that starts to move in, so sometimes that could tug a system back to the north. But the issue is that front moves in so quickly and then moves out. Let me show you that here. Here's Puerto Rico, and you see it's staying to the south of Puerto Rico, and this here's by Tuesday. We could get some heavier rain in Haiti and the DR. We're in monitor mode, of course, and then this will get closer to the toward parts of eastern Cuba and Jamaica. So there's that front, tugs it just a little bit to the north, but it also shows some weakening with this. It shows a weakening system. We'll see if that holds. Intensity is the hardest thing to forecast. And then this here is by the time we get into Wednesday morning in Jamaica, we could have a tropical storm or hurricane nearby. But the front moves away. High pressure builds in so very quickly, and that's why this action is staying to the south of the United States. High pressure builds in again. That front moves away quickly. High pressure builds in. You have another barrier here, and that keeps both of these systems moving to the west-northwest. There's that next system. By the time we get into Wednesday, that could bring some tropical storm conditions again to some of the same spots in the Eastern Caribbean. And then we'll see what is this system here. Is it a hurricane or is it a system that's falling apart? In long term, watching over toward Belize, Central America, Honduras, of course, and there are some tropical storm conditions that could once again move in on Wednesday into the Eastern Caribbean. There's that area of high pressure keeping this action moving to the west-northwest. Now, the European, the American, the Canadian all have this as a hurricane and an intensifying hurricane moving into Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada on the edge of Martinique and Dominica, on the edge of Trinidad and Tobago. The ICON, the German model, has this as a strong tropical storm. So all of the models are generally in good agreement. Now, the two things that I'm really watching out for is the heat content and the wind shear. These are the real biggies as we go forward. Well, what the heck is that? The heat content is not just warm water. We know the water's warm. It's acting like August out there. But you see this kind of orangey shading in here? So here's Haiti and the DR, Puerto Rico. Here's Trinidad. This is not just warm water, but it's really deep warm water. When a system passes deep warm water, it could rapidly intensify, and that's the concern with this system, and that's the concern going forward. So that's not good. It's going to pass very warm water. So as it churns up the water, it just brings up more warm water, and it feeds off of it. That's not playing in our favor. What may play in our favor down the road is the wind shear. So it's a give and take between the heat content and the wind shear, and that's why there's uncertainty what happens in Jamaica. This is by the time we get into Wednesday. Here's Cuba. The system would be right about here. Here's the other tropical storm moving in. You can see right here, but there's a lot of wind shear nearby. Those are winds that come across in the upper levels and just kind of knock off the thunderstorm tops of hurricanes and tropical storms. That's good. So I'm hoping the wind shear is strong. We'll see. We'll be fine-tuning that together over the next couple days. Now look at the intense rain though moving in, anywhere from St. Lucia south through Trinidad and Tobago. Now the worst of the rain will be Grenada, St. Vincent the Grenadines, and Barbados, and on the edge of St. Lucia. The core of this, easily 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain. Now with the core of it here, here's Trinidad. What's going to happen, Trinidad and Tobago, we're not going to have an all-day rain event on Monday. But as the core of this is just to the north, that could wrap in some bands of rain. It could be a scenario in Trinidad where some of us don't get a ton and others get absolutely dumped on. So we'll just be monitoring that. But let me break it down here island by island. This is kind of the worst case scenario, just to give you kind of, and I hope it's less. So hopefully it is less than this. But let's start with Dominica. The worst weather would be Monday, but it may be to the south. That's the hope for Dominica, that the worst weather would be just to the south. But as of now, we're taking tropical storm preps. Winds will be around 80 kilometers an hour or 50 miles per hour. The rain, 75 millimeters or 3 inches of rain or more. And if this nudges just to the north closer to us, we could have some power loss. But as I've been showing you the last 2 days, Dominica, yes, we're taking preps, but we're going to be on the edge of some of the worst weather. It's a little bit worse as we get to the south, back through Martinique. Winds on Monday, 110 kilometers an hour, 70 miles per hour. The rain, 100 millimeters or 4 inches of rain, and we will have some power loss in Martinique. We work our way to the south of there, St. Lucia. This is where we're going to deal with hurricane conditions for a period of time on Monday. My friends in St. Lucia, we are taking those preps. They will be done by tomorrow. Winds 135 kilometers an hour, or 85 miles per hour. The rain, 125 millimeters or 5 inches of rain. We'll have power loss and mudslides in St. Lucia, or at least some rock and landslides. Barbados, Monday, especially early in the day, deteriorating tomorrow night, Sunday night into early Monday. The hurricane moves in, winds 160 kilometers an hour, 100 miles per hour, some higher gust with this. The rain, 125 millimeters or 5 inches of rain or higher. We will lose power. Some of the power grids, by the way, will shut off if you are on a power grid. Sometimes they shut them off ahead of time. You know how that goes. So again, very strong winds. We're going to see this working into Barbados starting tomorrow night. So those preps, we're finishing those today and early tomorrow. St. Vincent the Grenadines, we have a hurricane headed our way. It could be a strengthening hurricane. In St. Vincent the Grenadines, all of our islands in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 175 kilometers an hour or 110 miles per hour. The gust could be even higher. We have a hurricane coming. Rain, 125 millimeters or 5 inches of rain. We could expect to be without power for a good portion of time, and those mudslides and the flooding. We have a hurricane on the way. Grenada, hurricane conditions moving in. Winds 145 miles per hour or 145 kilometers an hour or 90 miles per hour. The rain 125 millimeters or 5 inches or more of rain, power loss, and mudslides. There's a chance the core could be just to the north. There's the chance the core of this could be clipping us by. So again, it's going to wobble as it kind of comes in. That's going to make a big difference. Some of us will be, hey, this is better than I thought. Others, this will be a little bit worse than I thought, but that's why we're taking those preparations. Let me swing here, Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago, as we get into our northern zones, that's where we'll have more in the way of tropical storm conditions. The core of this will be to the north, but it will be close by. It could wrap in some tropical storm conditions of 65 kilometers an hour or 40 miles per hour, rain, 100 millimeters or 4 inches of rain plus, and we will monitor for any flooding, which is some of the bands that will try to wrap in. Now look at these waves that correspond with several systems. Here's meters. Over here, that's feet, and you see again this system that's going to try to spin up Western Gulf and Bay of Campeche first. That'll start to keep the seas very high through tomorrow. Then tomorrow things start to really build. You can see that there, the core of this, the brighter color showing up. This works in on Monday, and you see the wave heights upwards of 6 meters. We're talking some spots could get up to 25 to 30 feet. We are going to have that storm surge, intense coastal flooding where this comes on. And then you can see here, this system starts to work close. We're going to see swells building. Everything's really going to build. Jacmel, Santo Domingo, as we swing back toward Jamaica. This here, excuse me, goes from Tuesday into Wednesday. This is Wednesday. We have this system here and then another system rolling in. So again, terrible seas. Obviously, you know that as well. You know that better than I if you're in the water. So here's the closer look. Now we do have some of the rain ahead of this as we're making some of the preps. The rain in the southeastern Caribbean today is not tied to Beryl. Here's that other system watching Belize, Mexico, Guatemala, some heavier rain tomorrow scattered elsewhere. And then here comes the hurricane. That'll start to work in tomorrow night into Barbados. So this is tomorrow night. ABC Islands, we're in between everything once again. Now going forward here, you can see this system, even if it doesn't get a name, will bring that flooding to parts of Mexico. This is Monday. I broke down the hurricane conditions. Now to the north, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, for example. Some of this over toward Guadeloupe. Some of the rain may try to break free and find us, but but the core is staying down to the south. And then as we work our way into Tuesday, here's Puerto Rico. We may get some rain out of this, but the core of it would be to the south. Now, going forward, it's really hard to tell. I mentioned it's going to run into some, yes, the water is very warm, deep warm water, but there's also wind shear in here. So it's a huge question mark in Jamaica. I tell you what I know, what I don't know. Jamaica, Haiti, the DR, Cuba, I've got a lot of question marks about the strength of this down the road, but we're in monitor mode. Tomorrow, most likely, we're going to have to start making some of the preps. And then you see here the potential of another tropical storm moving in by the time we get into Wednesday. It's just crazy to see a scenario like this late in June into July, early July. This is stuff we do in August and September. So this is not typical at all, but we'll take it storm by storm as we go throughout the season. Jamaica, isolated showers and storms today. As we get back toward the Cayman Islands, isolated shower storm. We have some wet weather already around Trinidad and Tobago, but all eyes are on Monday, and that goes here. I've been spelling it out for Barbados. Sunday night into Monday. Monday, we have a hurricane moving in to St. Lucia, Grenada. We have a hurricane on Monday. We have a hurricane on Monday, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in a strengthening hurricane. Please make those preparations and talk to a friend or a neighbor. It's always good to go through these things with a community. Martinique, watching out kind of on the borderline. We'll see some bands of rain trying to work in. Same thing in Dominica as we work our way into Monday. Guadeloupe, some of the rain may try to break free on Monday. And you see the uptick in rain. Antigua and Barbuda, I was just mentioning us. We'll see some of the showers and storms trying to work in. St. Kitts and Nevis, rain chance does take up on Monday. Anguilla and St. Bart seeing some isolated showers and storms. 20 to 30% chance. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. 30 to 40% chance in Puerto Rico. I'll monitor things very carefully for Puerto Rico, U.S. and British Virgin Islands. 40% chance of some showers and some storms in the Bahamas. 20% chance in Turks and Caicos the next few days. Scattered storms in the Dominican Republic, but all eyes on Beryl to see what it will do down the road. Same thing as we work our way toward Haiti. Isolated storms in the short term. 40-50% chance of rain. But if you get the rain in Belize, we could have some of that flooding that will be with us. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, everything's been really up and around us. That pattern continues to go on. And by the way, if you are dry, you are hot. We are so hot this time of year. Guyana, watching out for some areas of flooding, not losing sight. But again, this system stays to the north of Guyana and Suriname. Scattered rain and storms in Cuba. We'll see what happens as we get into the upcoming week. 60 to 70% chance of rain, Costa Rica and Panama, and about a 50% chance of some rain and storms and the potential of flooding in Nicaragua. Honduras, 40 to 50% chance. 60 to 70% chance. Some of it could be heavy. Guatemala, El Salvador, back toward Mexico City. Watching out for the high flood potential with this tropical disturbance that will be sliding from the Yucatan of Mexico back into Mexico. Isolated showers and storms in Colombia, 30% chance, 30 to 40% chance in northern Venezuela, and about a 30% chance the next few days in Bermuda. So safety, the number one concern. Hurricane conditions are coming in. Worse weather arrives very early Monday through the day on Monday. I'll be tracking this thing as we go throughout the Caribbean to show you what's next. And then that next tropical wave back behind it, which also looks like it may become a tropical storm. So unusually active out there, but we'll go storm by storm and we'll go through these things together as we always do. I'll try to get to those comments throughout the day. I'll do the best. I'll be watching this nonstop, of course, behind the scenes. Forecast is locked in. If there's changes, I will let you know and I'll continue to give you those updates. Please be safe. Good luck with the preparations. Look on a friend or neighbor, especially someone who is alone, and have a good rest of your day.